Hey, what's happening? Jeremiah here to bring you a beginner juggling series that helps you develop more range of motion, strength, and flexibility with your juggling pattern. I've got a great series of drills that we're gonna go through and really hope to instill a sense of curiosity about your juggling to help you understand that juggling is more than just about learning tricks. It's about understanding what you're capable of, how to modify these little objects and work with them around your body in new and exciting ways. Let's dive right in. So the first series of drills that I want to take you through are what I refer to as the range of motion exercises. And there's really two categories. There's the pattern modulators, which actually deals with the shape of the pattern itself. And then there's the spatial modulators, which deals with the position of the juggling in space. Yes, you can say it in a robot voice if it makes you feel better.
Pattern modulators.
Spatial modulators.
All right, so let's dive into the pattern modulators. The first of three different variables that you can start to adjust is the height of the pattern. So you're literally just throwing them a little higher and adjusting the speed of the juggle or the rhythm of your juggling accordingly. You can juggle higher, you can juggle lower. And as you start to adjust this and play around with this, I want you to think of it as an experiment. You are pushing your limits to see how much faster you can juggle. That doesn't mean you're going to be able to go as low as possible right off the bat. You're going to have to expand your range of motion. And that's really what these drills are for, is to expand your overall flexibility and resilience within your juggling pattern. So at first, you're going to make it just a little bit smaller and faster, or just a little bit bigger and slower. Recognizing that the higher you throw it, the slower the overall rhythm is. And the lower you throw it, the faster the overall rhythm needs to be. And then you can switch between these two, faster or slower, as you get better and better. Another really useful and related aspect of height adjustment is being able to throw one ball high and go right back into your juggle. The skill that forces you to learn is to be able to pause from the rhythm and then resume the rhythm again. And that's going to be really important as you continue to practice. So be able to do it from both hands. Throw the right hand high, pause, go back into your juggle. Throw the left hand high, pause, go back into your juggle. And then as you continue to improve on that, you could try throwing too high and going back into the juggle, and eventually even all three of them, known as a flash. Another thing to experiment with adjusting is the width of the pattern. So from your base juggle, start to move your hands a little bit further apart. Just a little bit at first. And as you get more and more comfortable with your hands wider, you can pretty much take it to the limit of your reach. Similarly, you can also move your hands closer together. Now, all this comes with practice. You're not going to be able to take it to the extremes right off the bat. You're going to have to slowly expand your range of motion. When you get to the point where you're throwing it on the ground, that's when you know you've hit your limit. You can even break it down to just one ball and experiment with what the extreme feels like so that you can help expand your extreme even faster. This last one is a little bit funny. We're going to adjust the speed of the pattern without adjusting its height. So this is known as the dwell time, as in how long the ball dwells in my hand before each throw. If I want to increase my dwell time, I will hold the ball longer and still throw it about the same height as I was before. If I want to decrease the dwell time, the ball will be in my hand for a shorter period of time. Notice the whole time the ball is still peaking at about the same spot. This is my base juggle. This is a longer dwell time. And this is a short dwell time. As it turns out, two of the most common mistakes when I see people learning to juggle is not understanding the right rhythm, or the dwell time is off to create a rhythm that's going to make the juggling pattern work okay. For example, I often will see people trying to juggle too slow, like they don't throw the ball soon enough, and that's your too long of a dwell time. Or other times when people first start throwing two balls in the air, they launch them both back to back so fast they don't have a long enough dwell time, and it's too short. They're like trying to flash all the balls into the air. So finding the right amount of time that you're holding the ball is really essential to establishing the right rhythm with the juggling pattern. And being able to adjust that gives you that much more flexibility and resilience in your juggling pattern. Another important thing to note about all of these pattern modulators is that you can, of course, combine them together. So you can adjust the height and the width of your pattern at the same time, and throw in some dwell time as well. So there's a lot of different ways you can combine these things together. Make it high and narrow with really short dwell time. Experiment with them and explore your range of motion. Work on pushing your range of motion. The next category of range of motion drills are the spatial drills. It addresses the position of the cascade with respect to your body. We're going to work with it on 3 different axes. The x-axis to the right and the left, the y-axis up and down, and the z-axis forward and back. We're just going to use the basic cascade here. We're not doing anything special as far as changing the pattern itself. We're just going to adjust it on the x, y, and z axis. So first, let's do it with our feet planted. How far to the right can you take your juggling pattern without rotating your body? How far to the left can you take it? If you want to go to the extremes, then you'll need to spend a little bit of time just practicing throwing 1 and 2 balls in each of those positions so that you can then move into that position. So that's x-axis. Y-axis would be up and down, so lowering the pattern as far as you can, raising the pattern as high as you can. Z-axis is forward and backward. So if I'm usually juggling in this position, if I move my hands out further in front, or I bring them closer to me. You can, of course, take all of these drills and then add some pattern modulations to them as well. Juggle higher and juggle off to the right, or juggle higher off to the left, or lower off to the left, whatever. You get the picture. You can mix and match them in all manner of different ways. All right, now we're going to check out the X, Y, and Z axis, but we are going to allow the body to move instead of adjusting the pattern with respect to the body. So X axis is simply walking to the right or walking to the left. Pretty simple. You could combine those two things together so that you take a step to the left or a step to the right, just to further exaggerate the position that you're doing. If you want to do y-axis and you want to take it beyond your natural range of motion in the hands, then of course you're going to either bend at the hips, take a knee, drop it down to the ground in whatever way feels comfortable. How close to the ground can you get? Go up from there. You don't have as much flexibility there unless you can fly.
Like me, who loves to fly all the time.
That one might be for another day. At a certain point, you get to a high level where you probably need to switch to doing overheads, which involves learning a new tossing and catching position. But just know that basically you're turning your hands over and learning to juggle up top. It's generally going to require starting over again with the juggling and starting with one ball and building up to two and getting comfortable in that new position. All right, the last dimension, of course, is the Z-axis. So we're moving backward, we're moving forward. The question is, how fast? Can you run while you juggle? So lastly, we can talk about rotation. You can of course do this with your feet planted and just rotate from the hips, seeing how far you can rotate, or you can do it turning in a circle. Now the key thing here is that you have to learn to lead your turn by throwing the ball a little in the direction that you want it to go, so that you have to get there and change positions. You don't want to just slowly turn. The balls won't go with you. You literally have to lead in order to make it work. And so the more that you lead, the faster that you can turn. And you can really get around pretty fast the more that you lead yourself. At first, it's just going to be a small lead, turning only a couple degrees at a time with every step. Be able to turn both directions. Maybe even consider being able to throw one high and turn underneath it so that you're facing 180 degrees in the other direction. If so, you're going to set up your feet and do a quick rotation with them so that you don't have to pick up your feet to do the turn.
Hey, thanks so much for joining me today. That's all I got for you right now, but there's plenty more tutorials where that came from. I hope you find these drills inspiring and help you with your overall juggling ability. They can be applied to literally any juggling pattern and really help develop the skills that are required to master the juggling arts.
This tutorial is made possible by a grant from Fund the Flow Arts, a nonprofit organization dedicated to sharing the juggling and flow arts with the world. My goal is to try and make juggling more accessible for anyone that wants to learn, and I've got a ton of tutorials on the channel that you can continue to learn from, with lots more to come. So subscribe to the channel, say hello in the comments, and do find me on your other favorite social medias. Hope to see you out there. Take care. Jeremiah out.